And welcome to the Hot Seat of College Football Show. I am Trent, your host, on a spooky Halloween Friday, as we are less than 24 hours away from kickoff of Week 10 of the college football season. Tomorrow, I am so excited. We have Ohio State versus Penn State. I will be at that game. Since I will be at the game, I won't be able to watch Vanderbilt, Texas, so I will try to not get spoiled and watch. I want to get back home. But we got a bunch of really interesting matchups today. This isn't the most maybe exciting slate in the preseason. This was supposed to be one of the best slates of the year. But a lot of teams that were ranked then aren't ranked now. I still think there's a lot of really good matchups, and I think there's a lot of really interesting matchups dealing with maybe some teams with some injuries. So let's talk about some of these, and let's just get started with Vanderbilt heading on the road at 12 p.m. I guess it was maybe 11 a.m. Central to face the Texas Longhorns. So the storyline with this game is that Arch Manning will not be playing in this game, what we think. And I think that is going to stay true. I think Matthew Caldwell will start for the entire game. I don't think Arch is going to play at all. He is still rumored to be under concussion protocol. So it will be Matthew Caldwell to make his first start at Texas. He transferred from I think, Troy before he was at Texas, or maybe he was at Troy at some point in his career. So he has never started a game like this against a top 10 team. And maybe a team that we didn't think would be top 10, but that would be Vanderbilt. This Vanderbilt team has been the best surprise all season. That with Indiana have been the two biggest, and we know Indiana was good last year, and we know Vanderbilt had some cool upsets against Alabama, and they almost beat Texas last year. But Vanderbilt this year, blowing out South Carolina, beating LSU, and now beating Missouri in an ugly 17-10 win, will now go on the road to DKR at noon to face the 20th ranked Longhorns. And with Texas, this is really not a place that I think Texas thought they were going to be in. Texas was the preseason number one team in the country. They start their season with a loss against Ohio State, and then obviously later on the road at Florida. They have an impressive dominant win over Oklahoma in Red River, and now they're coming off back-to-back road overtime wins over SEC opponents. That would be Kentucky and Mississippi State. So Texas is favored by 3.5 in this game. And to some, I think that might be a little interesting. Why is number 20 favored by over a field goal over a top 10 SEC team? And I really think that is the matchup. This Vanderbilt team has been very fun, very cute. They are a real team. They are much better than they were last year. But this Texas team is for real. The thing that's been holding them back has been Arch in that offensive line. The offensive line has looked better recently. Arch threw for over 340 passing yards last week. And really, it was Arch holding on for the ball too long. That was the reason why the offensive line in the pocket would collapse, leading to sacks, which is why that Florida game ended up being the way that it was, with Arch getting sacked, I think, like 6 times. He got sacked a bunch of times by that Florida defense, that defensive line. Obviously, that was with Billy Napier. Now Florida doesn't have Billy Napier, so maybe if they played again, it wouldn't be the same matchup. But when it comes to this matchup, I think this favors Texas in maybe almost every single way. Vanderbilt's defense has been very lackluster, and you're like, well, they only allowed 10 points to Missouri last week, and that's true, but if you watch that Missouri-Vanderbilt game day was there last week. It was at 3:30 on ABC. Brett Pibula got seriously injured on an ankle injury on a 4th and goal stop. He's out for the game, and that's one of the reasons why I think Missouri lost. Missouri should have won that game. They missed a short field goal. Obviously, they missed that touchdown. They had a Hail that would have went to overtime if this was caught. It was caught at the 1-yard line, a Hail Mary. So Missouri was very close to winning this game. ESPN's matchup maker predictor thing has Texas winning, or like in favor, 70.4% to Vanderbilt's 29.6%. The over-under is 47.5, so they're predicting this game to get into the mid-high 20s. And let's talk about Vanderbilt. So Diego Pavia has thrived on getting out of the pocket. And now Texas is looking to spy Diego Pavia, and that is going to be a much harder task now because Anthony Hill, the preseason All-American linebacker, one of the best linebackers in the country, is out with a thumb injury. He will not be playing this game, which favors Vanderbilt. So I think if Diego Pavia is able to scramble out of the pocket, get all over the place, that is how Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt can extend drives, keep possession away from Texas. Texas is an explosive team, especially on the ground. Condravion Weisner has been very good. So that is the goal if you're Vanderbilt. The only thing is I just don't know if Texas will allow that to happen. The thing that kind of pushed them over the edge early in the game versus Missouri was an 80-yard touchdown run. Yes, their defense did not look great against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a very weird offense with Jeff Lebby. I think this offense is kind of ground and pound, keep it between the hash marks, scramble, option. I think that is much easier for Texas to contain. And I mean, Missouri only held them to 17. So I think Texas will be able to put the clamps on this Vanderbilt offense. And that is why I'm going to pick Texas to win this game. I think they will cover. I think Texas will win by 4. I think it'll be a weird score, like a 27-23, maybe 24-20. I think Texas wins and they cover with the hook. So I do have the Texas Longhorns. Moving on. Who is messaging me? Oh, it is YouTube. So okay. Let's talk about our next game. So Oklahoma heading on the road to Knoxville to face Tennessee. Tennessee is currently favored by 2.5 points. Let me pull up the stats for this game. If I could find it. When is this game played at? This is your 7th. So this is going to be your primetime game in the SEC. Tennessee, their spread opened at 3.5. It is now down to 2.5. The over/under is 55. So even with that Oklahoma defense, they predict this to kind of be a shootout, high 20s, low 30s. Tennessee and their ESPN matchmaker is favored at 63%. I think Tennessee is a really good team. If you haven't watched I'm gonna pin it right here, my playoff Week 10 bracket prediction. I predict what I think the college football playoff is going to be at the end of the season. I will say I picked Tulane to be the playoff representative, and then an hour later they get blown out. An hour after I post that video, they get blown out by UTSA. So that was great. I love that. Both of these teams are 6-2 coming into this game. Both have 2 SEC losses, so this is a playoff game. This is a playoff eliminator game for both of these teams. And this will be under the lights with Tennessee having their blackout uniforms. If you have not watched the video, they did one last year with like a ink spider thing, but the Tennessee media team, when they do their blackout, their media team is absolutely phenomenal, especially when they do the blackout trailer release things when they promote it. So yeah, Tennessee will be in their blackout uniforms. Those uniforms really, I love those uniforms. I think those things are fire. But yeah, I think this will be a fun one. It's kind of is John Mateer has been fine. This Oklahoma offense has been fine, and they've been a defensive team, and then John Mateer will be Superman when they're in trouble. Well, ever since the John Mateer injury, he has not been Superman. He has not played great, and then the defense also isn't playing great, which is why Oklahoma got blown out by Texas and got kind of beat on by Ole Miss. So now you're heading on the road to a team that Tennessee is very similar to Ole Miss. Their rosters are built very similar. Their offenses are similar. They're very offensive teams with kind of lackluster defenses. I've heard they say that Tennessee's kind of like a watered-down Ole Miss. I completely agree with that. I think Tennessee will be able to take advantage of this defense. This is a very, every defensive coordinator has, Their defense revolves around a certain position. So Georgia's defense revolves around their linebackers. Alabama revolves around kind of their everything. They're kind of a defensive back, like their DBs. Oklahoma's defense is a very defensive line defense. Jim Knowles' defense is a very safety-led defense. Look at Caleb Downs last year. Brent Venables, his defense are very defensive line, big man, heavy, aggressive blitz. That's kind of like how I would describe his defense in like buzzwords. And if Joey Aguilar, Tennessee's offensive line has been good. Their tackles were not great last year. They had injuries too. Now I think they're a bit better on the offensive line. They had David Sanders Jr., the 5-star freshman left tackle, has been stellar for them. There was a guy I really wanted at Ohio State. So if they can stop this defensive line from Oklahoma, I really think that this will be a day where Josh Heupel and this veer and shoot Joey Aguilar, Chris Brazzell can really take advantage of this defense and kind of carve this Brent Venables defense up. We saw exactly what Ole Miss did to them last week, and that was a home game for Oklahoma. So that I'm going to pick Tennessee to win this game at home. Neyland Stadium is one of the hardest stadiums to play in. It's a top 3 loudest stadium in the entire country. So I am going to go with Tennessee to win this game. The next thing we want to talk about is, let's go to which one do you want to do? Let's talk about Cincinnati going on the road at Utah. So this sense is going to be a West Coast game kind of in Utah. This game is at 10:15, which is unfortunate because this is where game day is going. Game day will be at this game, and this game is going to be so late. I don't even know if people are going to watch this game just because of how late it's going to be. Utah is favored by 10.5 points. They are favored 80.5% at home on ESPN's matchup predictor. This is one where I think is going to be fun. This might be the best game of the week. I'm excited, and especially just because I picked Cincinnati to make the playoff as my Big 12 rep, so they need to win this game. But this one kind of yells upset to me, to be honest. This one kind of yells, watch out for Cincinnati. Brett Sorsby is, he's an 1,800-yard passer so far, 20 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's pretty stellar if you ask me. So I guess that's the other thing. Devin Dampier is not going to play in this game. So Utah's on their backup quarterback. This spread opened at 7.5 in favor of Utah, and now it's at 10.5 favoring you. It's gone up 3 points. I don't know why. I don't know what. Utah has more losses. Cincinnati's 5-0 in the Big 12. They're ranked high. I don't understand why Utah's a 10.5 point favorite. I could not tell you why they're a 10.5 point favorite. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati in this game. I think this team can go on a special run. I think this might be our Cinderella team of the year. I think it's gonna be Cincinnati. So I'm gonna go with the Bearcats to win this game. Let's go to our next game, and that is let's quickly go over this one. So I did a separate video. I'm gonna post it here right now. I just did, and it released this morning, an Ohio State versus Penn State preview. So go watch that video for more in depth. I'm not going to go full in depth in this game right now. Ohio State, the spread was at 20.5. It was at 19.5 yesterday. Now it's at 18.5. Excuse me. So the spread has been going down in favor of Penn State. They're predicting this one to be like a 31-13. I'm going to take Ohio State to win and cover. 18.5 is too small. It opened at 17, went up to 20. Now it's down at 18. But I do think Ohio State will cover this game, especially if you're getting in your bet right now at 18.5. So, Georgia, Florida, the world's largest cocktail party. Georgia is favored by 7.5. Obviously, Florida now firing Billy Napier Florida's a dumpster fire, and they fired him off of a win against Mississippi State. I'm just gonna be quick with this one. This is Georgia. DJ Lagway's been good. Gunnar Stockton's looked better. I think DJ Lagway's a better quarterback, a better prospect, a better talent, but Gunnar Stockton has looked much better than him. I'm picking Georgia. I think Georgia's gonna win. I think Georgia's gonna crush Florida. So that's the thing about that one. USC at Nebraska. This is where I wish game day would have went so Ohio State Penn State could be a night game. But yeah, number 23 USC is -4.5. This one opened at 6.5. Now it's down at 4 on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska. So yeah, USC is heavily favored in this game. Maava has been phenomenal. Dylan Raiola, actually, he has good stats. His stats look really good. Nebraska's not been very good, though. Nebraska looks like kind of how they looked last year. They look better, but I mean, they're 6-2. Would not be surprised if they finish 7-5. I don't know the rest of their schedule. Actually, let me look at the rest of their schedule. So, yeah, at UCLA, and they lost that game last year. At Penn State, they could lose. Iowa at home. Iowa's looked better than Nebraska, to be honest. See, I would not be surprised if they lost out, maybe go 7-5 or something, 6-6. But this one will be fun. These teams are kind of similar. They're just kind of like that second level, third level of the Big Ten. I think USC is in the second level. I think Nebraska is more than that third level. I don't really believe in Raiola. Matt Rule just got extended. So he will not be going to Penn State. That Penn State job is probably going to be doing Brian Hartline. When we get more news about the Penn State hiring job, I'll make an own video about it and who I think is going to become the coach. It's probably going to be Brian Hartline, the Ohio State wide receivers coach and offensive coordinator. But for this one, this is USC to me. USC is just the better team, and if this was I would think I would want to pick Nebraska in this game just because they're at home. They're good. Nebraska's good at home. Lincoln's hard to play in, and USC has been terrible, absolutely terrible on the road. But I'm going to go with USC. I think this US team is better than what they were last year. I think Lincoln Riley has developed the defense a little bit, and I seen what this Nebraska team did against Minnesota. Were horrible, and then I saw Minnesota get stomped out by Iowa. So, yeah, I am going to go with USC to win this game. Our next game is South Carolina on the road at Ole Miss. Again, this is good. Ole Miss bloodbath. I think Ole Miss is I'm not going to doubt Trinidad Chambliss anymore. We'll see about Lane Kiffin and if he leaves Ole Miss. I don't think it'll be in the middle of the season, obviously. His team, I think, is going to go to the playoff. So, I think Ole Miss is going to beat South Carolina. Navy at North Texas. North Texas is favored by 6.5. Navy's undefeated. Both of these teams are in the driver's seat of the playoff, especially that Tulane just lost. The American has been a stacked conference for the Group of 5 Contenders Club. But both of these teams they've lost 2 teams. None of these teams, Navy and North Texas, have beaten a team with a winning record, or with a winning record, or like an actual winning record. If you're 5-4, that's not. I mean, I get it's a winning record, but not really. So I'm going to go with North Texas. They're favored by 6.5. Mestemaker has been amazing. That offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach, whatever, at North Texas, he's been everywhere for Cam Ward. He's been everywhere. He's been phenomenal. He's one of the best quarterback developers in the country. So I'm going to ride with North Texas. I think their offense is just going to beat the triple option and the heavy stuff for Navy. So I'm going to go with North Texas. Arizona State on the road at Iowa State. Iowa State's -4.5. Sam Levitt's not going to play in this game. He's out. Iowa State has lost a bunch of consecutive games. I think they get a bounce back game. I think Iowa State wins. And then Texas Tech on the road at Kansas State. They're favored by 7.5. I also think Texas Tech will win. So let's recap some of these games. So, here, let me scroll here. So throughout week 9, we are 55-94. We were at 63%. We just keep dropping. So hopefully we can have a bounce back week. We've had 2 not great weeks in a row. At 59%, it's gonna be really harder to get up to that 65 the later you get, because then it's the harder to get your percentages up. So If we go to our Week 10. So, to recap, I have Texas Tech over, or no, you guys can't even see it. There we go. I got Texas Tech over Kansas State. I have Iowa State over Arizona State. I have North Texas over Navy. I have Ole Miss over South Carolina. I have USC over Nebraska. I have Georgia over Florida. Ohio State over Penn State. Cincinnati over Utah. Texas over Vanderbilt. And Tennessee over Oklahoma. So those are my bets for Week 10 of the college football season. Before we go, we got to do our last segment. Who do I think is on the hot seat the most for this season? Who do I think? Let's see. To be honest, I would go with Brent Venables. I think Brent Venables is going to be on the hot seat for this week just because he has been so disappointing at Oklahoma. He's always had a couple good wins this season, but then just a terrible rest of the season and bad upset losses. And this will be the thing that knocks him out of the playoff with the best team that he's had. If they lose this game, they're not going to get in the playoff. Maybe if they won out, they'd be 9-3. Maybe that would get them. I mean, their schedule is really hard, but I really just don't think they would. They would have 3 SEC losses. So I'm going to go with Brent Venables to be the hot seat coach of the week. That is all I have for you today. We'll see you guys back again on Sunday. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on notifications so you get a notification every single time I release a new video. And remember, always hit the like button. And remember, leave me a comment down below. What do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you want to see? Any ideas? Let me know everything in the comments. I enjoy your guys' support, and I love to debate all of you guys and all of your opinions. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. We'll see you guys all on Sunday for After the Whistle. I'll have my videos and clips from the Ohio State Penn State game, and we'll see you then. Thank you.